It's always a bit nervous when you're putting a massive hole in the bottom of your boat on purpose while bouncing around in sea state 2. In this episode, we continue our passage to our Turkey checkout port of Cesme. The persistently strong northerly conditions do not abate, and we get some great sailing, while also doing some running repairs and lots of unsuccessful fishing. We have an early visit from the coastguard, I find more chafing up the mast, and yes, we do find an anchorage in busy Cesme.
I had the best night's sleep this morning, and I mean not like a good night's sleep, like you wake up and you're like, I couldn't sleep a second more. It was perfect. This anchorage was unreal, and it was actually quite fun to watch all the excitement yesterday of all the locals in their tour boats. That was really cool. This is our version of colours.
It's not very colourful.
No. Except our flaggies losing the colours. Might have to get another one.
The hot springs are just tucked in here. Looks like there might be a bit of wind out there, but not too much. It's going to pick up though, so we're leaving it early for us. As long as I can drive us out without hitting anything.
Slight problem this morning. Our speed is reading 0, so it might just be something jammed in the log. So Al is going to do a quick log swap to see if he can clear it. Lots of growth on it. That's fine.
Get it lined up.
And just like that, we have speed again. Good little underway repair to start the morning.
It's always a bit nervous when you're putting a massive hole in the bottom of your boat on purpose while bouncing around in sea state 2. But it needs to be done. We've got a log back. Log's super important because it feeds all your wind instruments, so you don't have any accurate indications of true or relative wind or anything unless the boat has a good indication of how fast it's going through the water. So it looks like we just needed to clean it a bit more regularly. A little bit of growth on it. It just stopped it spinning briefly. Could have gone on the outside and done it like we normally do, but yuck.
Shower's out. We're flying. We don't have that far to go today, so hopefully we can get there in a couple of hours, which means we'll be nice and safe and secure before the bigger winds come this afternoon. Lovely sailing conditions. We're just debriefing the movie selection from last night. We had a movie night. Al chose the movie. What was it?
Mad Max, a Saga Furiosa.
It was so bad.
It was awesome.
It was just
Australiana. What?
motorbike fight scene. It was very long.
Franchise? Yeah, it's too long.
I think I get the choice next time. There's a coastguard vessel up ahead just hanging off the edge of that land. Again, it still makes me nervous.
It's been a busy little sail across the Gulf of Sigachik. We've had true winds of almost 20 knots. We've had to reef the headsail. We started with the reef in the main. We've shaken the headsail reef out. We're looking at the coastguard. The wind's starting to drop and the sea's dropping because we're getting into the lee of the big peninsula.
We're just coming into the protection of the land, and so the sea state has calmed down a bit, but the wind has stayed up, so it's actually really pleasant sailing conditions right now. Say hi to our Coast Guard friend. Hi, Coast Guard guy.
Wow, I was not expecting such a dramatic drop off. Pretty much we just crossed the line and boom, no wind. And it's interesting because that land is still 1.5 miles away. So either it's a really local effect of it funneling through here and creating a dead patch, or the land is just having a much greater effect than we're expecting. Every chance we were going to get blown backwards in the way we've come, so we've filled the headsail and we are running on one motor to get ourselves around this cape, which really has just absolutely knocked the wind out of our sails. hopeful. There's a large flock of gulls sitting on the surface ahead of us. We're going to deviate slightly through this patch and see if there's anything, specifically fish obviously, that are attracting the seagulls.
Apparently this means there's fish. I'm pretty convinced there's no fish in this ocean.
Having spent some time sailing in and out of Whangarei and Dunedin, the other thing you always check is that the birds aren't standing on something, namely the bottom. Well, if that was a fish, it destroyed that braid to lead a knot instantly. Maybe I didn't have enough slack on it. Me and fishing.
Fishing game is still not treating us well. We've just lost more lures.
It's becoming a running gag at the moment. Oh, an interesting sailing day today. Unexpected southerly gave us a bit. That's now died to sort of 3 knots true. So we're going to motor the rest of the way in to our anchorage, I think, although we've left the head sail up, the mainsail up, just in case. Obviously we're not putting a timer on, but minutes after I made that last video about there not being any wind, we're now sailing again at 6 knots. Just keeping an eye on this fish farm that we're getting very close to, but the leeway is going to push us down. Once again, we found a very different feeling part of the Turkish coast. Very low land, some islands, quite desolate, lots of shags.
We found an anchorage at 4 evening. It's only about 1 o'clock. The advantage of starting early is you do get a long way. It's not quite as protected as the charts would have shown, although the indicator for us should have been all of the wind farms. However, we're nowhere near anyone else, which is nice. And I think the holding's really good here. We've got plenty of cable out, so it'll be nice and safe for the evening.
Not a big boat job, but one of the clips came off our Luma, a small rectangular porthole. And what we've done is we've just glued it back on. But because I don't think it'll ever be the same again, we're going to swap it over as well to the starboard side. Awesome, just like that, all done. We do have 5 on board. I've swapped that paint out for one of the ones we really don't use very often. We're down to our last fishable lure. I've just been re-rigging the entire line. Don't think these mackerel red and whites that are so popular in Australia are so good here, but they do sell them. So unfortunately we didn't have enough braid, so I've chucked mono on, which means we won't have quite as much because the mono takes up a lot more room on the spool than the braid does, but that's okay. Fishing is fishing. That's actually the moon. What an incredible evening. And there's the sun, kinda. It's a time. Oh jeez.
Early morning visit today from the Coast Guard. There was a Coast Guard vessel that we passed yesterday, so they must have come up and said hello. I think they were almost loitering around us to wait until they saw someone and then they come alongside. But they're pleasant. They just want to see your boat documents, your passports. They check everything and then they go. So no problems. But yeah, it's the second time we've seen them.
Anyone would think I was starting to enjoy this. I'm going up the mast again. We've identified what's possibly some chafing in our main halyard. And after a previous experience and a big bill, we don't want that to happen again. So I've connected the spinnaker halyard as a safety line. I'm going up on the main halyard. Certainly a scenic spot to be doing this anyway. A little bit further. Whoa! That's right, I'm up here again. Now that I'm using the chair, it's a lot more comfortable and I can really spend a bit more time up here investigating things. Unfortunately, investigating things like this. Yeah, we don't particularly want to lose another couple of feet out of our main halyard. Probably why it's as long as it is. Kel's just lowering me down slowly. If I'm going to come up here, I might as well inspect everything on the way down. Like our stays, radar, nav lights, lazy jacks, Turkish flag. Yep, there's a Turkish flag. Everything. Thanks, sweetie.
After an eventful morning of the Coast Guard, waking us up at very early, and well, it wasn't that early, we were just sleeping in, and Al going up the mast to have a look at some possible chafing, we are off. It was a absolutely perfect anchorage, windy when we got in, but perfect holding, nice and big. We were by ourselves, there was no body flies. I really liked it, and we both slept like a log, which is great. Today we have about 20 nautical miles to get around the coast and up to Cesme, which is the place we are going to check out of Turkey. A bit sad to be heading to our last port of call in Turkey, but after almost 3 months, I've got to say, I definitely want to come back, but I'm also keen to get back to Greece. We're anchored here, up in this nice little area up here, and we're just proceeding out now, around avoiding the fish farms, around the coast and into Cesme. That there's Greece, that's Turkey. The coastline around here is quite epic. It is absolutely stunning. There's a big haze at the moment. There's been a whole bunch of wildfires, not just over in Greece like the ones we thought we saw the smoke from the other day, but there's been some here in Turkey, actually not far from us at all. So the boat's got sort of a fine layer of ash on it, and you can definitely smell it in the air. I can see the line of wind coming, so fingers crossed it's enough to sail.
We are definitely getting quicker at this. Unfortunately, we've gone to reef 1 again because of that chafing.
Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Once again, we're chasing the the lazy tuna. Hopefully the lazy tuna are the really fat tuna. Me and fishing off this bloody boat. Okay. Nice early start this morning. Get us around to Cesme. Do some shopping. We've got a plan because we're off to Greece in a few days, so we need to buy all the stuff that's cheaper in Turkey, of which it appears there is a lot. A lot of toiletries, cleaning products, junk food, things like that.
A bit noisy on board now. We've got the generator running just so one, we can top up the batteries because they were getting covered by the sails, the solar panels were, and two, we want to run it every once in a while to make sure it's still working. In the meantime, I am tacking my way up towards Cesme. I wanted to turn the engine back on, but I was like, no, we are going to sail. I reckon I can get us there, just. It's going to take a lot longer than if we just put the engines on, but I am determined.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. Caught on camera too. That's a smooth one-handed operation, that.
Looks like a fun little port, Cesme. There is a giant ferry in there. I assume he must be going back to Istanbul.
It's a very interesting anchorage in comparison to what we normally find. There's an amazing looking castle here in Cesme. Huge ferry alongside at the moment. It's quite a big marina here. This is where we'll be in 4 days to check out.
We managed to sail most of the way. Then we hit the corner and the wind did some funky things. But I was determined to sail, as you can see, lots of tacking in there. And eventually we made it in. Al doesn't get worried, but I do. Does that mean when you see police cars go past, you don't get worried?
No, I definitely get worried basically.
Is that not because you done something wrong?
Yeah, warrant of fitness. Road user charges.